still students.
This York High School crowd is here, and they're here to watch their Dukes take on Schaumburg and Chris Hodges, who will be graduating in 2021 and attending the University of Wisconsin for college basketball. Obviously, a game all Dukes and Schaumburg fans alike are looking forward to. What are some of your key X factors to win this one?
Well, I've seen both these teams play a couple of times this tournament, me and Gavin. So right now, I'm looking to see Chris Hodges of Schaumburg and how. I'm trying not to be biased right now already, early on.
And you could hear the York crowd just loving Nate Johnson.
They're excited. They're really loving it.
The student section is going wild.
And this is how you know it's going to be a good one. And I'd like to see how York is able to stop Chris Hodges with the 1-2-2 dominant
Here
defense.
Comes the only sophomore on varsity, and he starts, Nick Hesch. He's been getting into foul trouble. That's my X factor early. If he could stay out of foul trouble, especially against a guy like Chris Hodges, I think York can get it done.
Right. And you see the way that we saw York in that last game against St. Ignatius.
Yes, they played St. Ignatius, and then 2 days ago, they just finished up beating Rolling Meadows.
Oh, geez, yeah, Rolling Meadows. Yeah. So after that Rolling Meadows game, we saw a lot of the 1-2-2 defense coming a factor, but that was against a particularly smaller team, and so now you'd like to see how York adjusts to a bigger team against a player like Chris Hodges.
Schaumburg wins the tip off the bat, goes to Varese Patterson.
We've already seen that 1-2-2.
Oh, Shockey with the steal. The fans are loving it. He's going all the way. Whoa, just off the mark, but Hesch with that great offensive rebound in a fight. Nick Hesch!
Nick Hesch staying aggressive.
Wow! He is eating it up. He's yelling. Fans are into it. Nick Hesch, offensive rebound, rip, and a quick 2 points for your York Dukes.
And you see him staying aggressive underneath, allowing the second chance opportunity.
It's exactly what you want to see from him early. His inexperience was not getting to him. You certainly would not think he was a sophomore there on that play. Now it's our mentor saying with it up top.
And that's another advantage of him being like a very tall, power forward type player.
And like you said, this 1-2-2 defense is great for everything, but it does leave the corners open at times as number 11, Armen Tormasane, is off the mark. Now, of course, it is Shockey up top. Shockey is committed to D1 basketball as well as Chris Hodges.
I think we're frozen right now. Disconnect this.
All right, and now Schaumburg is bringing it back up following the 5-second call. It's Jared Shue with it. He gives it to Joseph Storino. Storino's been stout throughout this tournament, but obviously it is Schaumburg's Chris Hodges to be the player to look out for. They give it to him there. Foul call comes early on the Dukes.
I believe it's on Glavin. Yeah, they're going to call it.
That foul does come on number 50, Tim Glavin, 6'5" senior for the Dukes. It's exactly what we said the Dukes could not do, is get their bigs in foul trouble early against a guy like Hodges. Hodges being double teamed in this 1-2-2 defense, and it is working very well off the bat. The fan section is very into it. Schaumburg's offense is looking a little scared. And now it's Lex up top, playing defense on Varese Patterson. It's a name we've heard a lot early. It's a guy that Schaumburg trusts to have the ball in his hands in a situation like this, as Shockey gets in between the pass and maintains a Schaumburg basketball. But this has been great defense from York, because we're almost 2 minutes in, and Schaumburg still doesn't have points on the board.
And that comes from great defense. You see. York,
oh, Shockey with the rip.
Ball away.
Oh, crusher there, and now they get it all the way down court. Great shot by Joseph Storino. What nearly was a Nate Shockey play that would have been finished, surely.
Right, but we've seen the hustle on defense coming from York and how dominant they've been so far, working the 1-2-2. And there's a great sense of urgency on both sides of the ball for York.
Now they're going to work. Kick ball on Schaumburg. Maintains York basketball.
And here comes the sixth man. Me and Gavin were talking about the other day. A.J. Powell. He's very aggressive on offense and defense. He's able to really shut down other teams.
Yes, having a player like him, great hustle there by Hesh on a near stolen ball. Both offenses are looking to be in a bit of a slump early, but it's not necessarily because of what the offenses are doing. Both these teams are known for their stout defenses.
Right.
And you got to look to see Shockey getting in there, and wow, what a move. Sends A.J. Powell flying
back. See the toughness from Powell. He got elbowed in the face.
Oh, Tim Glavin just off the mark, and that is who else but Chris Hodges on the defensive glass there.
So we saw Tim Glavin coming off a really good game against Rolling Meadows, who's a particularly smaller team, and we like to see how he reacts.
Nearly stolen by Hesh. A.J. Powell off the mark, but Chris Hodges with the offensive rebound. I believe they're going to call a jump ball. They do. The possession arrow sends it to York Dukes basketball. It's 2-2 with 4:42 left in the first quarter. Both sides of this auditorium are extremely full and ready for this game. Now it's Nate Shockey for three. Just off the mark. But it's maintained in York basketball.
Brando.
Oh, off again. Another York offensive rebound. You got to assume after 2 offensive rebounds, you're going to score. And they do just that. Jeffrey Grace, known for his defense, but he's been putting up 10 points a game. And Nate Shockey. Oh, my God. A mini earthquake in here. There's a mini earthquake happening in here.
And it is loud.
Following
you see that
Nate
hustle.
Shockey steal and dunk. Wow.
And we're going to hear this all game long, AJ.
We sure are. We're in for a great one here. 3:50 remaining. If you're Schaumburg, you have to get Chris Hodges more involved here. I understand he's doubled, but he is your X-Factor player. Oh, wide open man outside. No good, but Chris Hodges with another offensive board. It's going to be a problem for York if it continues.
And you see Chris Hodges there. He kind of gave a little to the chance, the taunt from Joshua Tyson we heard. That's a little interesting.
Yeah. Chris Hodges certainly trying to make his presence heard not only on the court but off of it. He wants to make sure that Schaumburg comes out on top today. And I can certainly see that happening, but York is off to a very hot start. And after beating Rolling Meadows, they have to think that they can do anything right now. Good defense and ball movement here. Good patient basketball from Schaumburg. Nearly a steal. Jeffrey Gray showing what he can do on the defensive end. York recovers very quick on defense. A.J. Powell inside now. And another early foul from Nick Hesh. The bench thought he had his hand straight up.
And I don't know how aggressive of a foul. I mean, it didn't look like much of a foul to me, but A.J. Powell has done a great job drawing those all tournament long.
A.J. Powell gets the first one to go. That cuts the York lead to 3.
Bobby's up top. Dylan.
A.J. Powell for his second look. He gets them both. It's now a 2-point York lead. Jeffrey Grace bringing it up for the Dukes. Oh! Oh, Hesh can't finish on the lob.
Hesh looked there for the lob, and
it's a great pass there from Shockey.
Thrown a little to the right.
Oh, and here comes Jeffrey Grace pushing the ball down court. All the way. Wow, making his presence heard. Jeffrey Grace just putting a body in the paint.
He's getting very physical down low, and with his speed, he's able to do anything. Going coast to coast, Jeffrey Grace, very impressive.
Absolutely unreal right there. Jared Chu passes it in to Maurice Patterson.
Oh,
He's been quiet today, but he is a good scorer. It's currently 8-4 for your York Dukes. You can see Chris Hodges very visibly mad right now that he's not more involved in this offense. And I can see why. He's a commit to Wisconsin. He wants the ball more, but A.J. Powell is getting it done. Now Hodges gets it. He gets instantly triple teamed, which leaves a man open outside. That shuts up the crowd. He waves to the fans. That's number 12, Amav Karnik, the senior. Got it. Now Jeffrey Grace brings it up for the Dukes. Outside to Shockey, corner three, no good. Great offensive rebound by Nick Hesh, something he's done early on in this game that you could tell is making an impact. And another three from Shockey. This time it's good! Nate Shockey lets it bang from downtown.
5th point of the game from Shockey, 5th of 11 total from York, combining with JG, who's got 4.
Schaumburg with it now. He wants it. He's the one who made it last time. He gets it again. Amav Karnik is hot from 3. It's his 6th point on the game, and it cuts the York lead to only 1.
And I'm really liking these back-to-back punches here. You know, Schaumburg's not letting York get away with any lead.
It's a foul. I believe that foul's against number 12, Amav Karnik. It is. That's his first. Also Schaumburg's first. They opt to pass it in to Nick Hesh beyond the arc. Who gives it up to Jeffrey Grace. Jeffrey Grace playing patient basketball. That was Nate Shockey with it. Off of the Nick Hesh screen. He's going to town over there. Nate Shockey. Pass tipped, but it's recovered by York. Oh, that pass is tipped out of bounds by Schaumburg. Schaumburg fans are eating it up, and it remains York Dukes basketball.
Where's Coach Doran? He's not over there.
It's a great question.
We've seen a very physical game, but there's no coach. Or, well, there is a coach, but that's not Coach Doran. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, Nick Hesh wide open for 3. He got it! Nick Hesh lets it bang from 3. Extends the York lead to 4.
Again, great ball movement.
Back and forth threes from Schaumburg and York. This is the evolution of basketball as a whole right now. Wow. Big men can shoot. Little men can shoot. And Nick Hesh certainly can shoot. Oh, Shockey with the steal. He's going all the way. Nearly an and one. Shockey will go to the line with 4.3 left in the first. The Dukes are ahead, 14-10. Shockey now at the line. Oh, first one's out and in.
Yeah, see, that's what I just noticed that. Coach Doran's not here.
Now this could be a difference maker. The York coach is not here right now. He could be in the locker room or he could be sick. Shockey gets the second one to go.
Surprise.
4.3 left in the first.
And here comes Malada for Shockey early on.
Malaga's certainly good at defense in this situation.
That's defensively.
Shot is no good from Joseph Storino. Your score at the end of the first quarter, York Dukes 15, Schaumburg 10. This has been a great high-scoring game off the bat, and we will see you after this first quarter break.
Hey, Knuckle.
To be underway. The host of the tournament, the York Dukes, are up 15-10. What did you notice in the first quarter, Dane?
I like the aggressiveness on both sides of the ball from York. You know, they're doing a great job of stopping Schaumburg, only allowing them 10 points in the first quarter. And that, I don't think we've seen that coming from any team at all this tournament.
I think I like both teams' explosive scoring. Even though they both held the ball very patiently, there's lots of explosive scoring there.
Oh, it's on.
We are about to get the second quarter underway in Schaumburg basketball, down 5 points.
And you hear these chirps coming from our crowd behind us.
Here goes Maurice Patterson. Hash is playing tight defense on Jared Shue. Back to Shue.
She's been a great shooter. And that ball stolen by Shockey.
Oh, Hash tries getting it back to Shockey, but that ball is tipped. Shockey just says, calm down a little bit, it's all right.
I think the matchup between Shue and Hesh is really great because we've seen Hesh able to close out many shooters this tournament.
I think that shows York's confidence in their other bigs that they're going to put different, less tall people than Hash on a guy like Chris Hodges.
You see York waiting here.
Jeffrey Grace making his presence heard yet again.
You saw him. You saw him back up. He opened up the floor and saw the opening, and he just went for it. Easy layup.
And Jeffrey Grace is certainly known as a defensive superstar, but he's quietly averaging 10 points a game, and he's really off to a great start this season.
Grace gets his 6th this game, and that's a panic timeout from Schaumburg.
30-second timeout on the floor. York fans are eating it up. What did you see coming into this second quarter? After that, Jeffrey Grace 2 points puts York up 7. What do you think Schaumburg needs to do to get back into this game?
Schaumburg's got to figure out how to stop York's offense, and as well as they need to play better. Well, they need to play better offense as well because they got 10 points. A minute into this, they got 10 points in the first quarter. And a minute into this second quarter, they got nothing so far. And right now, Chris Hodges is struggling. They usually try to get the ball to underneath. He's got 0 so far.
That surprises me too. It's not even that much on Hodges. I just don't think he's been worked the ball that much very often early in this game. He's very frustrated with it. You can see it on his face.
Yeah, York's just not giving him anything, and we know that from. And we kind of expected it.
That's for that 1-2
solid defense, like the 1-2-2 underneath, because you have players like Glavin, Hesh, Rhodey, Jeffrey Grace, even Shockey, who can come down low and lock it down.
That's why that York defense is so versatile, like we were saying earlier.
Right, and you see Hodges talking to Brando right there. Expect
over and back, right out of the foul.
Hodges to come up to the perimeter and either look for the ball or look for the pick.
Because you could tell with the 1-2-2, the way to beat is you throw it to the guy who's standing right at that free throw line.
Right.
They might turn Hodges into that role, test his mid-range jumper, even just to get the ball in his hands, give it to him at that charity stripe and see what he could do with it. Now it's Jeffrey Grace going to work. It's stolen. Schaumburg going down court.
And this York crowd really getting in the head of Hodges.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to have Hodges come a little higher up sometimes on offense now to try to get him more involved. That's certainly been what's got Schaumburg this far in the tournament, so it wouldn't hurt to get him the ball now in a game that will decide a spot in the championship. Why not give it to A.J. Powell inside, just off the mark?
And he's been off so far this game, too. It seems just about everyone has been.
York fans are giving it to A.J. Powell. Tim Glavin gives it to Shockey. Back to Glavin. Off-ball screen by Hesh.
Brando.
Leaves him open. No, but Hesh with the offensive board that goes to Shockey off the tip. Shockey fouled on the way up. He'll shoot 2 to possibly extend this York lead to 9 early on. York is really making their presence heard, to say the least.
I love these behind us right now. I really do. Josh Mathiasen. He's, like I said this last game, or St. Ignatius game, I think he's really throwing the Schaumburg team off.
Josh Mathiasen is the definition of school spirit.
Right.
When you see him, you just think York Dukes. And when you think York Dukes, you think of Josh Mathiasen. A guy who's not even on the court, who's making just as big of an impact as people on it. He gets in people's heads, and you could tell that Schaumburg's not playing the same because Josh is in the student section. As Shockey rarely misses both, which is rare for him.
He's one heck of an athlete. He's ranked 4th in state for wrestling. Hasn't lost this season.
It's Jeffrey Grace with it now. There's Josh Mathias saying it again. Here comes Shockey. Gives it to Tim Glavin in the corner. Malaga. Shockey.
You see York staying patient here.
Shockey, very contested mid-range shot. That's when you'd like to see the Dukes be a little more patient on. But they say he was out of bounds. And Jared Shue is not happy with it. And you can tell Mathiasen knows every player on both teams. He's calling out Jared Shue there.
This is great.
Now Hesh with it to Glavin. Shock outside. Inside the Hesh. Hesh gets fouled on the way up. He'll shoot 2.
Hesh now on the opposite end of the foul.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Dan. Hesh is typically when you hear a foul with Hesh's name involved, Hesh has fouled out from I think at least 5 games this season, or at least been in foul trouble in those games. Now he goes to the line. He gets the first one.
He's just been playing phenomenal basketball all season long, and he's only a sophomore.
Especially today, Hesh has really turned it on when they need him most. Hesh now leads York in scoring. That is not a stat you hear from Hesh often. He's normally a guy who helps you with off-ball screens and getting rebounds, but Hesh leads York in scoring today. He's having a phenomenal game, and you can tell he's feeling it.
He's got 7 points.
Oh, Schaumburg with the sloppy passing. Barely stays in bounds.
I wanted to catch that.
Now, if you're Schaumburg, you really need either Amav Karnick or Chris Hodges to go to work, because those are their 2 main powerhouses. Of course, Karnick, the sharpshooter from 3, and everyone knows what Hodges could do on the inside. There's an open look. No good. And now it is Malaga with it. He gives it to Shockey.
See the struggle in the eyes of Schaumburg.
Now, Schaumburg still has yet to score in this second quarter. That's almost 4 minutes without a score. You got to think that gets to him at some point. Malaga gives it to Hesh.
Hesh.
To Shockey.
You see the patience now, trying to create something.
Timeout called by York. York calls a full timeout. You have to think that the coach, even though it's not the one that York is used to, sees something in this defense that York will be able to take advantage of if they're calling a full timeout here.
Right, I'm kind of surprised by that because we're used to seeing York set up, like the players themselves set up an open working offense. And it almost seemed like Shockey was kind of figuring that out. You know, he's a great floor general, but York called timeout.
I gotta say, this interim head coach tonight seems very unfazed by the pressure, and I'm impressed by how well he's been getting Nick Hesh involved. This is the kind of thing this is what shows you the potential of the younger players in this team. Hesh, only a sophomore, leads the team in scoring, and clearly the biggest game so far this season.
Student section is standing up. You know, they're still getting into it, but I don't know why they're sitting.
York still leads this one by 9, and it goes to Jeffrey Grace in the backcourt. He's also had a very good game. Shockey, open for 3. No. Rebound by Schaumburg. The ball is in Varese Patterson's hands. Although he hasn't scored yet, we know what Patterson can do. Now Chris Hodges has it. York fans want to travel, they don't get it. Wide open player for Schaumburg. He gets it. Great shot by Jared Shue.
And that's unfortunate for York because it did look like a travel there. No call. Still good ball movement from the Schaumburg Saxons.
Now Jeffrey Gray's going to work up top. Gives it to Nick Hesh. Hesh is one of those players you can put inside or beyond the arc, and he will be effective. Shockey off from 3 again. He's had a bit of a cold start from beyond the arc today, but nothing to scoff at. We know what he's capable of. Amir Karov gives it outside. Karov gets to the corner in what seems like a second. No, York gets the board. Here comes Shockey.
Great aggressiveness from Shockey.
Another 3 from Shockey.
Shoot it.
Off again. But Jeffrey Grace. Wow.
Foul call. It looked like a little contact under the rim.
Jeffrey Grace has absolutely made an advantage by using his body in the paint today.
Yes,
He's been knocking people down, getting through people, and it's honestly amazing to watch.
And I'm pretty surprised by it too, especially coming. Foul call.
They call a push foul there on Jeffrey Grace. He's not happy about it.
But for a smaller guy like Jeffrey Grace, you know, I don't want to call him small, but compared to Chris Hodges and the rest of this Saxons team, it's been surprising that he's been able to find himself inside the post, scoring 8 points tonight.
Absolutely. And now it's Jared Shue to pass it in. Those are Varese Patterson. York's setting up for this double team. Great pass to A.J. Powell in the paint. He finishes this time. A.J. Powell cuts the York lead to 6. Here comes Jeffrey Grace up court with it now. Gives it to Shockey. Shockey off the screen. Stays York basketball following Jared Shue hitting it out of bounds. Josh Messiason letting Jared Shue hear it after that one. Here comes Shockey with the spinning layup.
That was Brandolino.
Oh, that was Brandolino.
No travel.
Oh. No travel called. A.J. Powell now with it. You can see Powell knows the game of basketball just when you see him with the ball. Oh, and York fans hate that foul. That foul comes against number 40, Denton Rhodey. That's already York's 5th foul. One more, and they will send Schaumburg into the bonus.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. That's something you don't want to see there.
Well, here comes Arnav Kernick. He can hit threes from deeper than most people in high school basketball. And he's honestly one of the more explosive, overlooked talents on Schaumburg. Just because they have a guy like Chris Hodges doesn't mean Arnav Kernick should go overlooked. A.J. Powell, and they call the charge on A.J. Powell. Great set of feet by Nate Shockey there.
Powell doesn't like it. This York crowd does. And he was arguing, but his feet clearly weren't set. You know, he's definitely a foul on him.
Josh Mathiasen once again letting him hear it.
Shockey, minute and 9 left in the first half.
Oh, Shockey. He's going in.
Brando
Open man.
with the fake.
Oh, of course, Tim Glavin with the rebound. Now Shockey with the deep 3. This time, Shockey connects. And look at that York bench go wild. Chris Hodges just throws it out of bounds. York fans are loving it. Up 9 with 39.4 seconds to go in this first half.
And a great last maybe 30 seconds there for York, able to get the second chance opportunity on offense and force the turnover on defense. You like the hustle there.
Absolutely. And you got to love from Nate Shockey. After those first 1 or 2 threes don't hit, he's not afraid to keep going.
Right.
He knows who he is. He knows he's a D1 basketball commit, and he knows who he really can be.
Ooh.
And he just sends Jared Shue on ice skates. Jeffrey Grace with 15 seconds to go in this first half. Jeffrey Grace inside. Once again, Jeffrey Grace.
York
using
up.
his strong body to his advantage. York up with 2 seconds to go. AJ Powell, air ball, and going into halftime. Your York Dukes lead 26-15 over the Schaumburg Saxons. The fans are into it. We're into it.
I'm into it.
Game. We'll be back after this 10-minute halftime break.
Wait, hold on. So, oh yeah, we'll go to break.
And we are back. I'm AJ Swiatek here with Dane Emmerich for the second half of York Dukes versus Schaumburg Saxons basketball. York is currently on top 26-15. Dane, what were your first half takeaways?
I was stunned by the way York was able to stop Chris Hodges down low. He's got 0 points tonight, and the 1-2-2 defense, the 1-2-2 defense has been working phenomenally.
What really impressed me was not only how they stopped Hodges, but how they kept the ball out of his hands. For a guy who's committed to play in Big Ten Division I basketball, you think he'd be getting open more. Oh, yeah! Off the bat, Nick Hesh soars for the Lob City finisher. Wow.
We're getting baby chants from the fans.
I like it.
I just see he comes up top like that.
That's what they need to do to get Hodges the basketball. If Schaumburg wants to come back in this basketball game, they have to get into that X-Factor player and maintain Schaumburg basketball.
Can he do this? Yeah, can he?
Yeah.
And here comes Joseph Storino. Another name you haven't heard much. Early second half foul here, not what you want to see from Tim Glavin. The York bigs do often get in foul trouble, not specifically Glavin, but I'm more targeting that at Nick Hesh and the other bigs on the team. Schaumburg gets the pass in to Varese Patterson. Jared Shue with it now. Gives it to Amin Toriasan.
And notice, look at the defensive effort down low from Tim Glavin. And honestly, the rest of the team isn't kind of popped down there.
I am really impressed by this York defense right now.
Right.
They're making Schaumburg take shots and make passes they don't want to do. And it's really impressing me. Now, there is an open guy beyond the arc. No good from Jared Shue.
And right now, the one thing York's defense needs to focus on is Shockey puts up the three. Glavin is the most important key in stopping Hodges.
No, this
he
has not
needs
been
to stay out of foul trouble.
This has not been Shockey's night from beyond the arc. But you gotta like how he sticks with it. He's
Right.
gonna shoot himself out of that slump. He always does.
And he always figures it. He always figures out his way how to get 20 points or so.
He always does. And Shockey is such a game changer. He almost reminds me of a better version of Connor Glennon from earlier. He's a Connor Glennon kind of leader who can still do it all. Shockey, when he is hot, is one of the hardest players to stop in this conference.
I don't think I'd compare Shockey to Glennon. I think I'd compare Glennon to Shockey.
That's what I'm saying. Shockey's just a better version of, he has that Glennon leader in him, but better intangibles. And now here come the York Dukes. Right into Shockey, who immediately gives it to Hesh. Oh, and Jeffrey Grace wide open in the paint.
And you see AJ Powell, he got lost underneath there, allowed the easy
Grace
bucket
is up to 12
from
points.
JG. He does have 12.
And now here comes
York now at
Varese
15.
Patterson. Patterson has not been able to get involved much in the scoring today. Actually, not at all, with 0 points. That's not typical for Schaumburg whatsoever. Now here's Chris Hodges with a good pass outside of Varese Patterson, who just didn't want to commit to that jumper, which is a smart choice. Hesh gets another foul. He's not happy with it, shrugs it off.
And so one thing,
So they are going to have to watch out. Tim Glavin is up to 3 fouls. That's not something that you want to happen early, obviously, as he has been doing a great job of locking up Chris Hodges. You got to see how Hesh does now on him by himself. Him and Denton Rohde are now going to be manning Chris Hodges. Glavin was really doing the best job I've seen all tournament of anyone being able to lock up a guy like Chris Hodges. So got to wonder what's going to happen here.
one thing Gavin and I have been saying since the beginning of this tournament is how important the third quarter really is and how you can take advantage and extend your lead.
That is their sharpshooter.
Because we haven't seen many or any at all fourth quarter comebacks.
And there is Chris Hodges. Great offensive. That was really set up by Jared Shue's offensive rebound. Of course, he did miss the layup, but that was a great hustle. And I agree with you. For what you're used to in a high school basketball tournament, there have not been many fourth quarter comebacks. And if they do want to make a rare one happen, they're going to have to cut a chunk of this lead out today. And the cause of blocking, I believe it's a blocking foul. It is. That's called on number 55, AJ Prowl.
You see the body language coming off of Prowl. He's not happy at all.
He was almost laughing at it.
Yeah, he was. And that's going to show York that they're really defeating you.
That is very true. Now,
mentally and physically.
Prowl's up to his third foul, but they opt to keep him in the game here.
We got nothing to lose.
Absolutely. Now Brandolino passes it in. Hash with it inside. This is where the York team works best. When they have the ball on the inside, it allows shooters like Shockey, like Brandolino, even like Jeffrey Grace to get open on the outside and just let it bang from three. So I'd like to see happen here on this possession from the York Dukes to be able to extend that lead. Shockey going all the way. Whoa! Nate Shockey! What
That's
a move.
His 11th point tonight.
And that is what you get from Nate Shockey. He's a guy who almost feels like he's in the air for 5 seconds, just doing moves. And you can tell Schaumburg is clearly flustered here. Only 17 points with less than half of the third quarter to go. Definitely one of the lowest scoring games we have seen. And now they find the open man in the corner. Bang! That shot is good from number 15, Jared Shue.
You see the great ball movement from Schaumburg there, working it around,
That was
waiting until they found the open shot.
great patient basketball. That's what you have to do against a 1-2-2-1 like York. Someone will be open if you continue to move the ball around. And that's why York is outplaying Schaumburg. They don't do it there. Brandolino wants to make it all in one play. It doesn't happen. Barely get the ball out to AJ Prowl. Now there's a guy in the paint. And one basket. Wow, Jared Shue is igniting. He is a spark plug. He cuts the York lead to 10, and he really is on fire right now. And who else but the foul comes on Nick Hash. Out of York's 9 fouls, 5 of them are on their 2 big men, Glavin and Hash. How's that going to affect this game down the stretch?
I think it's gonna start to, like, my mic just came off there. I couldn't hear half what you were saying because my mic fell off.
Oh, I was saying
cutting out.
Hash and Glavin have accounted for 5 of York's 9 fouls. How do you think that's going to affect them down the stretch if their bigs continue to get in foul trouble? Shockey just off the mark.
Well, the fouls are kind of spread out right now, and so, but I think more importantly, they do need to be more aware of it.
Uh-oh,
and try
Spark
and stay
Club.
out of foul
Wow! What is going on? Jared Shue, 12 points. Unreal.
And the shooting that we've seen from Shue all tournament long, his ability to catch fire and light a spark here early in the tournament we saw, and it's coming along the night. He's finding himself a rhythm.
And just like that, the York lead is down to 6. If you're York's interim head coach right now, what are you changing up? Because they're just letting Jared Shue shoot at will.
I don't know how much I'd change up, but I'd kind of just, I would just kind of like tell them at the same time keep doing what you're doing, but also run over. What they need to do is in stopping shoot from the three-pointer. But their defense is, it's almost like they're not as energetic and aggressive as they were in the second quarter.
It really shows what happens when Tim Glavin has to be out with those 3 fouls.
Right.
When he gets back in the game, you want him to play that same aggressive defense, but not too aggressive, because if he gets that 4th foul, that could be torture for York. Because even though Hodges only has 2 points, the second Glavin went out, he started making an impact on that offensive end, because now they're able to get him the ball, which is leaving Shue open outside the arc. Now Brandolino gives it to Shockey. Oh my, Shockey just off the mark, and just like that, this Schaumburg team has a chance to get it to a 1-possession game. I don't think anyone would expect me saying that just a minute ago, but Jared Shue has caught fire. They get it into Hodges, that's what they need to do. Now they get out to Shue.
And they're not allowing Hodges anything.
Okay, Now that is extremely true. They're not allowing Hodges anything. But the second Hodges gets the ball in the paint, Dane,
it spreads open the floor, right? And
that
it
is
allows
how
other players to score.
that is how Shu is getting open. They need Glavin in this game, and they need him now.
Right, I said, you know,
And Glavin goes to check in. That is exactly what they need.
earlier in our first game, me and Gavin covered with Schaumburg. We saw, I had a feeling Hodges was good. I didn't know anything about him. He didn't score many points. I'm like, wow, I mean, this kid seems like he's a beast because his ability to spread open the floor and allow other players to make plays, it was phenomenal.
Well,
And we saw
I
AJ Powell there.
am very happy that the York coach decides to put Glavin back in the game. He will make an immediate impact. He's just not really that impact that you need on offense. On defense, though, that will leave players like AJ Powell and players like Jared Shu guarded much more effectively, and I think that really should help York maintain this 4-point lead. Shockey. Oh, trying to end the hype. Can't
You
do
see
so.
Glavin out-rebound Hodges.
And that is what you need. Glavin is having a massive game today. I know the scoreboard isn't showing it. He doesn't have any points. Glavin is the player who is having the best game for York right now. And Jeffrey Grace! Oh my goodness.
14 points, and this crowd loves it, AJ.
Wow. Jeffrey Grace has made his presence heard once again. I feel like I've said that many times this game, and you could tell. Oh, Jared Shu. See, right when Glavin gets in the game, Shu doesn't have that open look anymore. He has to take a contested three. Now Jeffrey Grace again. Oh, the fans hate it. It is considered a charging call on Jeffrey Grace.
I'm not a ref. I wasn't standing over there, but to me, sitting here, his feet were moving. It didn't look like a charge to me. It's a tough call to make.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I always defer to the referee who's closer than we are. But, I mean, we do have courtside seats pretty much for this game, and
Yeah,
I would have to agree. I thought I saw his feet still shuffling to get into position to try to draw the charge from Jeffrey Grace. Either way, it is the Saxons' ball with a chance to cut it to a one-possession game, which you would have to think. If they are down by 3 points at halftime, that is a huge win for them. Now Shockey guarding Shu. And that is their sharpshooter, Amav Karnik. Just like that, York's lead is cut to 3. And this is unreal. Here comes Shockey. And he gets blasted. All of the momentum is in Schaumburg's favor. Schaumburg is only down by 3 going into the 4th quarter. Wow.
Wow, and going into the second half, I was expecting a total different outcome. Whatever was said in that locker room at half, dude, York only scored 4 points in the entire quarter.
That is what great coaches do, and you could tell Schaumburg's coach made an adjustment that seriously made a difference, and I am so impressed. The second they got Glavin to get to that 3rd foul, this entire game changed.
Wow, I'm speechless right now. Speechless right now.
I am as well. I mean, attending York High School, obviously you're cheering for York to win, but it's hard to disregard this amazing comeback that the Saxons are making.
Right, and we're starting to see the flashes of how good Chris Hodges can be, and right now, York's coach going over with him how they're gonna have to not stop him, but I mean,
Limit
you
him.
can almost, yeah, limit him. That's the right word. I was going for that one. Limit, right?
And that's absolutely why he's committed to go to Wisconsin. It's why he's a Division I Big Ten recruit. He makes such an impact.
Did you see that block? And we've seen blocks like that all tournament long.
8 minutes remaining. Winner of this game makes it to the championship. If you're just watching, York is up by 3, but they have blown a massive lead. Only scored 4 points the entire 3rd quarter. This is unreal. We're here with YSN. I'm AJ Swiatek. He's Dane Emmerich, and we're here for the long haul. Great block by Nick Hesh. And now Jeffrey Grace is going down court, trying to extend this York High School basketball lead.
And they really need to stay patient here. Just wait for someone to open up.
Absolutely. You don't want any forced threes from Shockey. Nothing too crazy from Brandolino, but that's a good shot. Yeah! Nate Shockey showing you what your Dukes are made of. Wow, that's what you needed coming out of that third quarter that was just filled with misery.
And right now, Schaumburg they're not filled with it's not all just surrounding Chris Hodges. They're filled with a lot of sharpshooters, perimeter three-point shooters that you'll be surprised by when they knock down those threes.
And that foul does come on Nate Shockey, but the big thing that I'm seeing here is, sure, Chris Hodges, the Division I recruit, he's great. But what he has really done is open up the floor for these shooters, and that shows what he'll be able to do at every level. With a guy like him, it gets other players open, like that A.J. Prowell layup. Wow, we have a game on our hands here, Dane.
And we do, and like we talked about, taking advantage in the third quarter, and after that, you can almost kind of sense who's going to win the game. You have no idea right now.
And Schaumburg did exactly what we said they needed to. They cut down the lead to manageable for a potential fourth quarter comeback. I want to see Jeffrey Grace go inside and do what he's been able to do all day long. Stenton Rhodey with it up top. Brandolino. Shockey in the corner. Oh, Shockey's off the mark. Oh, Schaumburg's forced to try to save it. And now in the backcourt is Jacob Brandolino.
Got a big Jacob Brandolino fan club right behind us.
Sure do. That brought the student section to their feet with that one. Something that we'd like to see more here today. And here comes Shockey. Gets blocked. Wow. And A.J. Prowell.
And a great job from Nick Hesh.
Nick Hesh is having his career game right now.
He scared the...
He's scared.
He really... he scared
the life out of him.
Right, he scared him.
Wow.
Wow.
That's all I could say there. Hesh is having
an
amazing game.
I'm more impressed by that than like a block.
Exactly. I mean, just that shows how big of a presence Hesh has in this game, that he's able to just scare players just by his footsteps. And Shockey gets the and one. And you see Tim Glavin on the bench flexing, loving it. Wow.
Shockey now with his 16th point of the game.
Chris Hodges tells the fans, calm down, they're still in this. A.J. Prowell's fourth foul.
That's A.J. Prowell's fourth foul.
That forces a timeout out of the Saxons. Wow, right when it looked like the Saxons were back in this one, York takes all the momentum. All it takes is a couple plays like that from Hesh, Grace, and Shockey.
And you're right.
That really is York's big three right now.
A.J. Prowell, who's kind of like the team's, he's like the team's, like the player that will give everything for the team. He's not afraid to foul. If they need a foul, he'll give it. He's aggressive. He's like their secret weapon, six-man.
I'm shocked by this stat. York High School only has 3 players who have scored so far this entire game. We're almost halfway through the fourth quarter, and you're telling me the only 3 people who have scored are Jeffrey Grace, Nate Shockey, and Nick Hesh. Wow. When we said that was the big 3, we were not wrong.
But cheerleaders jumped in front of us. But
wow.
As we said, this is more like a team game. Throughout the tournament, we've seen every single player that gets in the game will tend to score, and it hasn't been the case tonight. Only 3 players have scored.
And as you said, cheerleader jumps in front of us. Now's our time to shout out all the other York sports. Great York cheer team, and we got to thank the athletic boosters for the hospitality room provided to everybody. It's honestly very nice of everybody, and you can see all the signs located on the left side of the gym for the people who have helped with this Jack Tosh tournament. Nate Shockey looking to extend the York lead to 7. A.J. Prowell now on the bench due to his 4 fouls. In comes a player who we haven't seen very much yet, Joseph Storino. Shockey off the mark again from free throw. He gets his own offensive board. Wow! Nate Shockey, heads up play.
You see the hustle.
Turns 1 into 2. And Nate Shockey is huffing and puffing. He's loving it.
Really like those
now Chris Hodges is bringing it up. That's not something Schaumburg does often. Now he gives it off to Amav Karmik, who gives it to Patterson. Patterson slowing the pace up top. Doesn't want anything sloppy, no turnovers here. Hesh playing great perimeter defense, no fouls.
And look at Rhodey underneath. He's locking up Hodges. Oh, they call a
And
foul.
as you say it, Denton Rhodey called with the foul. I got to say, with Glavin in foul trouble, I'm really impressed with what Denton Rhodey's been doing in this fourth quarter. I think that shows that's not really Hesh's play style. Hesh is good to be on the perimeter, and a little smaller guy where he uses height to his advantage because he's only a sophomore. He doesn't have the weight on him that a senior or junior would, and that's why it's so nice to have a guy like Denton Rhodey down there.
He's a lot stronger than he seems, too.
Yes, exactly. He's been able to make his presence heard on defense here. Now it is a mob commit up top. He's a very good sharp shooter. Oh, and the sloppy pass by Maurice Patterson gives York the ball with 4:38 to go in the fourth.
And Patterson is a name that we've been calling all tournament long. He's got 0 tonight for the Saxons.
This York defense is extremely stout, and it will get even better now that Tim Glavin has just checked into the game for the Dukes.
I cannot believe Patterson and Hodges are combining for 2 points tonight.
Unreal. Like, if you told me that going into the game, I would think York would be up 50 right now. That's why I'm very impressed by what Jared Shue's done, and a double dribble on Jeffrey Grace.
You know,
I didn't see that there.
We see, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think he might have mixed up travel and double dribble.
Okay.
But no, he did. No, I think the ref did. But I was looking into the rules a little bit, and there was some sort of travel rule that says you can't travel while dribbling, which means like the way you like your step.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey has a weird way where he chops his feet when he dribbles, and he's been getting a little. We've seen him get a couple calls on that.
Yes, we absolutely have. And something that has surprised me, as we were this deep into the game, and AJ Powell gets fouled on the way up, he'll take 2. But something that has absolutely surprised me as we were this deep into the game is not only how York only has 3 scores, but how high school basketball still allows the no shot clock in the fourth quarter. Because this makes it for extremely hard for a team.
And they are really in his head.
For a team like Schaumburg to come back in this situation. But wow, the fans are into it.
Get him up into it.
And I don't know if you can hear the fans.
They forced him to miss both, but
I don't know if you can hear the fans right now. They might have just forced both those misses and the lane violation from AJ Powell.
And that shows the mentality, like the mindset that goes into a game like this, especially when you got York, who's
If I'm
playing at
York
home.
and I want to ice the game right now, I want Jeffrey Grace having the ball in his hands, going inside. The Shockey 3 will work too.
Oh man, that's a big call.
The York student section is absolutely livid right now. They love the call against Amav Karnik. That's already his 4th foul. Him and AJ Powell both have 4. They're in some foul trouble early. That's not what you want down 8 in this fourth quarter. Here comes Shockey, working on AJ Powell. You got to think Powell's playing a little less aggressive with 4 fouls. This is Shockey's chance to attack. Great defense there by number 10, Maurice Patterson, who still has yet to score. Dane, what's your takeaway from Maurice Patterson still being held to 0 points?
Well, we've seen him able to be, like his ability to be like a floor general, moving the ball around, and creating his team open looks, as well as when we see Hodges kind of get locked down, he's able to score, right? He's a good shooter,
Yes.
he's good inside, good drive, but I mean, we've seen York's defense, specifically Nate Shockey, completely shut him down. It keeps falling down.
And the York student section is once again into it. Jeffrey Grace working on Jared Shue. Shue making sure the refs don't call a foul on him. Hands straight up. But that's not going to work against a man like Jeffrey Grace.
Jeffrey Grace, 16 points tonight.
Wow, tonight is Jeffrey's night. Tonight is Hesch's night. And tonight, as always, is Nate Shockey's night.
And you look at him, his mindset. He's playing great defense.
Amir Karniv trying to stop the hype. Can't do so, but great offensive board. He's out of bounds. York High School basketball, and you look at that York bench. They're celebrating.
We see York up 10 now.
The winner of this game will go on to the championship to play the winner of Hinsdale South and Bolingbrook. Who do you think wins that game?
From what I've seen, I haven't seen much from either team because they've been in the South Gym bracket. Did they just call a technical foul?
Jeffrey Grace is getting
the
fans into it.
Is that 55?
It was a flagrant.
A flagrant.
On Jared Shue. Not what they need right now. And
Oh,
Jeffrey
Shue.
Grace gets the fans into it. They choose Shockey to shoot the free throw, and of course he'll knock it down.
Oh, wow. And the mental mindset
But
from Schaumburg right now just falling apart.
I think Bolingbrook will definitely get it done against Hinsdale South. And if York wins this game, that 1-2-2 defense is going to have to be stout against Bolingbrook because Bolingbrook gets in the paint every time, and that's how teams have been able to beat York, like Stevenson.
And Shockey just knocks down all 3 flagrant free throws.
And due to the flagrant, they now have Jared Shue on the bench, and in form is Jackson Bond, a guy we did not expect to see today, the 6'1" senior guard.
You know, I think he is a threat from 3. He can shoot the ball like nothing else we've seen this tournament. He's kind of like their last resort, end of the game type thing. When they like right now, Schaumburg's in this situation when they need a couple threes to come back to this game, and he is the man they got to get the ball to if they're gonna shoot.
And Brandolino has a shot to make York have more than 3 scores. He makes it, and the crowd loves it. Now we have 4 people have scored for the York Dukes.
And his fan club, you know, the student section right behind us, they love it.
Student section is extremely happy with AJ Prowell going to the bench. And he knocks them both down. Brandolino. Just when it looked like Schaumburg was back in this game, York just goes up 14 like it's nothing and holds Schaumburg to only 2 fourth-quarter points.
See, like what I'm saying, Jackson Bond, he's going to shoot the three-pointer, and that's what he's coming here to do.
Has held them. Schaumburg has been held to 2 points this fourth quarter.
Right, and there's 2 minutes left now here in the fourth.
Absolutely unreal. Shockey. Shockey is taking his ankles, going all the way. Oh, just off the mark.
Rhodey.
Wow. Denton Rhodey. And Shockey open for 3 in the corner. Oh, Jeffrey Grace.
And
York now has 2 offensive rebounds here.
And this is going to be their 3rd opportunity to score. And Jeffrey Grace kind of kicked that out to kind of run the clock down instead of going up.
If you were trying to come back in the fourth quarter of a basketball game, you can't let a team get 2 offensive rebounds like that, especially these valiant York Dukes.
And that's kind of the cons of
Nate
putting your
Shockey's
shooters
just going to work. Wow! Nate Shockey.
22 points. He is a bad man.
And I wish I could act like I was surprised, but this is a typical night from Shockey. York fans are chanting for Schaumburg to get out of their house.
They're saying, start the buses, AJ. Still.
Schaumburg still only 2 points in this fourth quarter. Another 3 on the way.
It's still 0 points coming from number 10.
Maurice Patterson. 3 players in for Schaumburg right now are still yet to score. We have 30 seconds left. The fans are on their feet. They know that York Dukes are heading to the championship game.
And that's going to be it because there's no fouls here. And there go the Schaumburg fans.
The York Dukes are heading to the Jack Tosh Championship. After what happened last year, no one expected this team that has gone through so much adversity to make it where they are right now.
For a team that's lost so much and their seniors, you know, Sam Walsh, Eric Cohn, Nick Kosic, for players like Jeffrey Grace to step up, along with Nick Hesh, Nate Shockey, and that's the game.
York is going to the Jack Tosh Championship. Unreal.
And we will see you tomorrow.
York will be playing the winner of Hinsdale South and Bolingbrook. That game comes up in 15 minutes. Wow, York Dukes, your York Dukes, are in the Jack Tosh Championship. After what was a close game against Ignatius, no one expected them to be able to do what they did against Rolling Meadows, and now they take care of business against Schaumburg. Comeback almost happened, but York pulled away.
They just grinded all day long, all tournament long, and they left the score margin wide, but it didn't seem like that much, and we were worried there in that third quarter.
I am extremely impressed by this York Dukes team. This has gone through some of the most adversity from any team. I'm impressed. And York is heading to the championship. We'll see you next time.
Go Dukes.